You are listening to one of the most prolific podcasts. I'm Caleb.
It's your boy DT.
And I'm Ken.
We are the Mind Report.
Here to push your mind and change your thoughts.
Everybody. What another great week it is to be here. I'm your host, Ken.
I'm Caleb.
I'm DT.
And like we always do, y'all already know if y'all been following us, y'all been rocking with us, y'all already know how we started off. It's always with gratitude because it's always a blessing to be here. It's always a blessing to have y'all with us because y'all could be doing anything else, listening to anybody else. But for y'all to tap in with us, it's a major blessing. And we really thank y'all and we really are appreciative of that. So without further ado, DT, what's the thought of the day?
The thought of the day, we're going to be talking about, and I don't know if anybody ever heard of this book, but it's called The Four Agreements with the author named Dunn. And in this book, it's run across so many things that a lot of people need to be in agreement with and within their life in order to better their lives. Now, when we talk about bettering your lives, you got to look at it from four different aspects. Actually take things in and start to make it some of your own in order to get some of that negativity out of your life or to even push you a little bit further. So the first agreement that really stood out to me was be impeccable with your word. Anybody who talked to me, they already know that I say that I move off three things: love, integrity, and gratitude. Gratitude is what Ken just showed and what we all show each and every episode. But love, you have to always move with love no matter what's going on in your life, because love is really going to be the antidote to any negativity that's going on in your life. And it brings out more positivity in your life. But when we talking about being impeccable with your word, we talking about speaking with integrity. Now, this is the biggest one because a lot of people speak, but do they speak truthfully? And if you're not speaking truthfully, then that means you're not being honest with yourself and you're not being honest with those around you. And one of the biggest things that stuck out to me is really just saying whatever you mean. If I say something, I mean it and I stand on it. Right. So when it comes to time, because time is very valuable, I don't commit to things that I know that I'm not going to be able to do because I don't want you being disappointed in the process, and I don't want to break my rule because I just told you I operate off three things: love, integrity, and gratitude. And if I break one of them, I'm not operating as the person that I should be to everyone that's around me.
Yeah, like we said, I think it was like last week we had an episode on keeping your word. I think we talked about that.
Yeah, we talked about it.
That's important. Like one thing that I know for sure is if I know I'm not gonna do it, I'd much rather tell you no than to let you down. It saves a lot of confusion in the long run, per se. I would honestly say that I would much rather hear the answer no than to be let down. I think it's just say like a lot of people time, energy, and effort. I also feel like when you speak with integrity and the person know that you mean what you say, that shows them how much of a trustworthy person you can be. You know what I'm saying? Like if I call Caleb say he gonna do something, I know he gonna do it. I call DT say, hey bro, call me when you whoop the whoop. I got you. I know he got me. And that's what it is. So to have people like that who's solid with their word around you, it's like a blessing. I ain't got to question, what it is, what it ain't. I know what it is and what it ain't, and that's just,
Have y'all ever paid attention? Disappointment causes corruption, and it causes corruption with your emotions. So when you get disappointed because somebody don't do something or don't do exactly what they say they gonna do, it causes your emotions to do some kind of like little move, and then now you feeling some type of way against the person.
Right.
But if the person actually kept their word, you wouldn't be feeling that type of way. Right. So one thing that I do tell people is treat people how you want to be treated. Right. If you give somebody your word, do that and be expecting the same thing out of somebody else. But even if they don't take it so harsh because you can only be controlling of yourself. Right. You don't control what others do. You can only control yourself. But always move with integrity. Always.
You gotta move with integrity. You also gotta have integrity with yourself too. There's no way I'm gonna commit something and just lie and cheat myself out. I'm gonna control my words. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people, they exit themselves out because of how they think or the words that they use by saying that they can't do something. Well, you just told yourself you can't do it. And then, everything that we do involves feelings.
Right.
And if you just try to do something that you just told yourself you can't do, the feeling is negative. The feeling is bad. You're going to have a bad feeling about whatever you try and do because subconsciously you tell yourself you can't do it. Right. So having integrity with yourself is important too, because if you can't have it with yourself, how can you expect to have it with other people? How can you expect to hold other people accountable if you can't hold yourself accountable by the words that you're using?
You speaking against yourself when you say negative things to yourself.
Right.
That's why I don't know how many episodes I've said this, but the most important person that's listening is you, and you talking to yourself. So what type of conversation are you actually having with yourself? When it's bad times, you should be speaking up good. Right. And when it's good times, you should be speaking up better.
Right.
It should never be you talking against yourself, because at the end of the day, I like how Tupac said, it's me against the world. Right. It's you against the world. Mm-hmm. Now, it's up to you to speak the world going against you and beating you. But you can beat anything that's coming to you in the world. Your circumstance does not have to become your conclusion at all. It becomes your conclusion because how you thinking about it, and especially how you talking about it. And one thing that I do want to touch on, in the midst of you talking good to yourself, don't talk bad about others. Right. Gossip kill your character. If you gossiping about others, you killing the character that you do have. Yeah, you might be a good person, but when you gossiping about others, you bring a negativity, that energy of negativity. Like we all energy. If you bring negative energy with negative energy, what that equals? Negative energy. Yeah. So you should not be talking and gossiping about others. What others do is none of your business. Mm-hmm. And I think a problem that a lot of us have in life is we don't know when to say that's not my problem.
Right.
When you don't know what to say, when you keep saying, oh, yeah, so-and-so doing this, or so-and-so doing this, you using your power wrong, because it's life and death in a tongue. Right. But if you speaking death on somebody else, how can you ever expect to sprout up?
Right.
Because you are a seed. If you plant bad seeds, then what you going to have? Bad crop, right?
Yeah.
So you got to speak positivity on others as well as yourself, but don't find yourself gossiping about others, because it's going to steer you in the wrong direction. Right. And when you're in the wrong direction, I guarantee you ain't going to be going wherever you want to go or doing whatever you want to do.
Yeah. You're going to be doing what you have to do.
Yeah. You spread negativity, you ain't spreading love. Right. And positivity is love, so spread it.
I feel like gossiping is broke people activity. And when I say broke,
he just went all the way in.
Yeah, like when I say broke, I don't mean from a perspective of how much money you have. I feel like I'm talking from the perspective of your mindset. You broken. I feel like it's so many other things. Like I always say, I be saying it on Instagram too. For every one thing you find within somebody else, is 10 things you could be finding within yourself that's wrong. You get what I'm saying? Right. Instead of having your focus on somebody else, focus on what you can and can't be doing. You know what I'm saying? Try to better yourself. When you come across people who are like that, who do gossip, who always in somebody else's business, they never have their shit together, because they never had the time to focus on what they are and aren't doing wrong. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? The same ones that gossip be the same ones who in reality look up and they in the same position they was in 5 years ago. Yeah. That's why I say it's a broke person activity, because it's like you're staying within that frequency. Right, you ain't elevating.
Yeah, you're not elevating. Yeah. Exactly.
But whatever broke can be fixed, and that's why you listen to the Mind Report right now. Check us out everywhere that you can possibly check us out. We are streaming everywhere. We only ask you to do 2 things: rate and review us, so they can get out to more people who never even heard of this, so they can experience what you're experiencing right now. But we're going to hop right back into it. You understand me?
You heard me?
I just saw my entrance.
Yeah. I had to take that. Yeah. Now, another one of the 4 agreements DT was referring to is don't take anything personally. I feel like that's one thing that most people suffer from. What others say and do is a projection of their own reality and whatever they going through, not a reflection of you. I had to honestly learn that. Cause like, I ain't gonna lie to you, when my mindset wasn't fully established, it's still not fully established because y'all got room
growing
to grow.
Every day.
Right. But when it was not where it wasn't right now, I used to take a lot of stuff personal. I used to be real sensitive. And one thing I had to realize is like what was stated was true. What others say and do is a projection of their own reality. A person can have a fucked up morning and you speak and say good morning, and it's like due to their morning being fucked up, they energy off, but they walk past you. It's like, you know, you could feel the vibe. So it's like one thing I learned is a lot of times people displace their anger. The shit that it should be towards, the shit that it should be centered towards, is never there. They always displace it. Like, so a lot of times you be like, damn, I ain't did nothing to you. That's a true statement. You ain't did nothing to the person. But due to them going through whatever they going through, they letting that frustration, that anger out on you. Right. So I learned not to ever take nothing personal.
Yeah, I mean, there's been many situations where I've been dealing with people and like they would say something or do something. I'm like, why are you doing this? I'll just laugh it off. You know what I'm saying? I know that they're out of character right now. And then a couple minutes later, they'll come back. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm sorry I did that. Sometimes it's just, you can't take it personal. Sometimes you just got to take it with a grain of salt because you don't know what that person is actually going through. And if you gave them that same energy back, then you're making the situation a lot worse for you and that other person. Because now you're looking at a bigger conflict than it already was before. But when you establish that mindset to the point where you don't let shit bother you, certain stuff bother you, there's a lot of benefits that come with it. I mean, I can't give someone an energy that I know that I don't want to receive back. Right. Because all it's going to do is making the situation a lot worse, a lot harder. And then who am I? You know what I'm saying? So sometimes you just got to assess the situation and just look at it.
And two clouded heads can't start nothing but a storm. So don't be surprised by the rain.
That was a bar there.
Yeah. But you just gotta understand that some of the things that people do and that they say, it doesn't really pertain to you. Only how it pertains to you is if you start to adopt whatever it is that they giving you.
Right.
If you adopt it, then now you're just making it your own. And once you make it your own, you pretty much doing the same thing that they doing. So who really better?
Right.
Somebody has to be the bigger person. And when people do things to me negative, I really just don't even look at it because they go back to my first principle. You got to lead with love. Even if you is doing something out of character or you doing something real spiteful or negative or you saying something negative, guess what? I'm still going to kill it with love. Right. Anything that goes up against love, guess what? It never wins. Right. It never wins. Like Caleb had said, he might have this person who do something or say something and they come back and be like, you know what? I ain't even mean to do that. You want to know why? Because some fact he led with love. Now, if he led off with negativity, guess what? The storm never gonna end. It's just gonna keep going on and on and on. But one thing that people really need to understand that nothing others do is because of you. Anything that anybody got going on personally in their life, guess what? It's because of them. Because I think I've said this many times. You are the common denominator between the results that you have in your life. If you're in a bad spot right now, it's because of you. Right. Don't project out any negative energy because of what's going on with you. Now you feel like somebody should be kind of like your trauma partner, as Ken say. Right. No, we're not your trauma partner. Now, if you need somebody to talk to, yeah, we can do that. But if you want somebody who you can take something out on, no, we can't do that because your energy not matching my energy at all.
See, me personally, I ain't gonna lie. When I come across people like that, shit, I leave their ass alone, like, period. Ain't no coming back.
He don't want no parts
at all. It's no coming back. The way I see it is like you do it one time, you're gonna do it over and over again. And so like I know when you're mentally established to the point where you walk away from disrespect and you walk away from, people displacing their anger on you, that's like a superpower. You get what I'm saying?
You're right.
But you're not finna keep pushing that button with me now. I done walked away one too many times now. You know what I'm saying? You're not finna re-get that chance to do it over and over again. Like, and that goes back to me, my theory when I say you aren't able to control other people, but you are able to control what you have around you. And so that also comes with learning your triggers. You get what I'm saying? I know that sometimes, we fall short. Sometimes you can't help but take certain stuff a certain way. Yeah. So if that's a trigger for me and I know that, why would I put myself back in that position? My saying is you never gonna get a second chance to show me the same thing you showed me on the first go round. You get what I'm saying? So to control, my emotions for the sake of my peace, I just X myself out of the equation.
Yeah, you got to.
Right.
But don't ever find yourself being victim to somebody else's emotions.
It's true.
Because you do. Guess what? Who you going to be the innocent bystander.
Yeah.
you don't want to become the innocent bystander. So you just got to exit yourself. Sometimes you do just got to separate yourself from whatever negative that's going on around you because some things don't require your response.
At all.
And if you give it a response, now you're reacting the way they really want you to react. And once you react, guess what? Now you out of character as long as that person being out of character.
Right. And sometimes when you know you're around that type of energy too, sometimes it's good to expose yourself to something different. If you be around that for so long, you start to conform to their bullshit by default. If you see something that okay, you got to expose yourself to something different to distance yourself away so that you can see something from a different perspective because you've been dealing with that for so long and that's what you're used to.
To add to what Caleb said, I think a lot of people don't understand that fully. It's all in what you magnify. Sometimes you got to be in a space where you just so fucked up about yourself to the point where you can't let anybody else or what anybody else is doing affect you in a negative way. I forgot what singer said it, but she said, I love you, but it was Mary J. Blige. She said, I love you, but I love me too. You get what I'm saying? So I love you, but I'm not finna let you keep doing whatever you doing that's getting me, you know, this way you got me.
Got you. Another statement too with the 4 agreements is don't make assumptions. Always find the courage to ask questions and express what you really want. I really think that what that means is a lot of people have pride. A lot of people are in their ego. A lot of people don't want to stand up and speak up. First of all, if you don't really know something, ask somebody. Because you won't look very dumb at doing what you're doing, not asking somebody versus asking somebody with experience. Right. Somebody who's been there, done that, did all that shit before. Right. You know what I'm saying? But we also got to understand, we got to put that pride to the side because we all here to learn. We had to learn it at some point in our life. You know what I'm saying? No matter what it is. I just think people got to really just put the pride to the side. When it comes to this statement, I really think that they really have to put the pride to the side and really just step out there and speak.
I feel like this is an important one. What I gathered from it is communication is key. Mm-hmm. I'm not finna assume you mean nothing because assumptions only make an ass out of you. I'm not finna assume you meant XYZ about ABC. Is none of that. I'm finna ask you for a clear understanding. You know what I'm saying? So before we go any step further, I just want to make sure I'm taking it right.
Right.
And so once I communicate it that way to you, that's your chance to clear whatever it is up.
Kim, like, you mean this right?
Right. Now, before we go there, I'm just trying to make sure.
I made the right turn, left turn, and like this way.
Let me just get this right.
Right.
But it's important that you do that, and it's important to also communicate what you want. We also talked about this on last week's episode. Stop assuming that people know what you thinking. Stop assuming that people are able to read your mind because they not. Express what it is you want. You get what I'm saying? Like Caleb said, put your pride to the side. I feel like pride is like a person's way of trying to be cool. And y'all already know I done said about 2-3 weeks ago, trying to be cool to me is lame. Like it's never that deep to the point where you got to try to fit in or you got to try to look a certain way. Put your pride to the side, communicate whatever it is you want, ask questions, stop assuming because it's only going to make an ass out of you in the end.
I always tell people don't make assumptions anyway. Right. If we have any type of misunderstanding or anything, definitely ask. Because I feel like if I'm not understanding something, we always in class and life is going to be your teacher. Always ask questions, especially when it comes to relationships. Because if you draw assumptions, that could actually kill a relationship. Because you didn't have no clear point of view with the individual that you was going through. And life is all about perception. Okay, you might be seeing it one way, but I might be seeing another way. But if we ask each other questions on how we actually viewing something, then now we can come with a conclusion. And the conclusion is both of us have an understanding about what's going on versus one person feeling some type of way and then not expressing it and the other person had no clue. Because at the end of the day, nobody's a fortune teller. I'm not here to read your mind. I'm here to understand and communicate with you, but I'm not here to read your mind. So that's with anything. Do not find yourself making assumptions because assumptions only make you look bad at the end of the day. And once you look bad, now you killing whatever you did have with an individual, a business relationship, a friendship, or whatever the case might be. You have to be able to let that go, put your pride down and put it to the side and actually start to ask questions. Because the worst thing that you can be in life is ignorant.
Right.
That's the worst thing that you can be in life.
True.
And arrogant is you not wanting to hear what the next person has to say because you think that you are always right. Exactly. So those are the two infections that could actually cause a disease in your life. Ooh. Don't be ignorant. Don't be arrogant. Clear it out. Yeah. Ask for some type of understanding. Right. Because understanding means you mended something back together that was broken.
You got to have that. You got to also understand people's intent too. Sometimes it's always good to just have that conversation to just understand and have that intent, to know that intent. So the path gets more clear and it's more understandable. That way there's no storm, there's no conflict, nothing. You know, we're all going at the same direction, the same angle, the same speed.
Right. I was just having a conversation with one of my mentees. I want to say this probably about a week ago. And I was telling her, because she in a whole different kind of industry, but I was telling her with intention can't be seen. It can only be felt. So if you looking at, I might be seeing you do something, but I'm not knowing the intention behind it.
Right.
So that's when understanding come in. You start to ask questions about what's going on. So both of y'all could be moving at the same tandem instead of one of y'all going against the grain and swimming against the waves versus swimming with it.
Right.
Because you never gonna get anywhere but exactly where you at right now if you don't know anybody's intention. But you have to be able to sense those type of things and ask questions on those type of things. But in the midst of that, I want everyone who listen to this right now, always do your best, no matter what. No matter what's around you, because you control your environment. But if the environment around you negative, guess what? I'm going to do my best to just kill that environment that's around me. Or with somebody that has something negative to say about you, guess what? I'm still going to do my best because I know whatever you're saying, it doesn't hold any value with me. Any type of situation, I want everybody to stop what you're doing right now. Look in the mirror and tell yourself, I am going to do my best. Your best is going to change from moment to moment because it's never the same. You always going to get to the next level. And I think Caleb always say this like a video game. You got to get to the next level. And that comes with change of you doing your best. So when you do your best, you just doing your best over and over and over again. Because at the end of the day, it's you versus you. It's not you versus anybody else. The whole point of life is to become the better version of yourself. And the only way that you can become the better version of yourself is, guess what? You got to top yourself every single day. If I did this yesterday, I'm going to do a little bit more. If I did this day before, guess what? I'm going to do a little bit more. And so on and so on. You're never going to stop growing. There is no destination to your growth.
Okay, you got to exercise. Because at the end of the day, once you get to that point where it's that time, you're going to be fully developed. You're going to have all the traits. You're going to have everything in line. You're going to have everything you need. So that's the whole point of just getting yourself closer and closer and closer, because when that time comes, you have everything. The mindset's there. The mentality's there. Everything's there. You know what I'm saying? You're not lacking on anything. You got to make sure that you're in motion to understand and to gain this wisdom and knowledge. So when you do get it, you already know what to do with it.
I'm going to add to what DT said. Do your best when it comes to you and you as an individual. It's not a competition. The only person you should be trying to be better than is the you from yesterday, the you from yestermonth, the you from yesteryear. You know what I'm saying? I feel like a lot of people...
I think he just made that word up yesterday.
Yeah.
Webster, give my man some credit for that.
Right.
I feel like a lot of people go wrong when they feel that they're doing their best and their best isn't better than the next. A lot of people will secretly be in competition with other people and still be losing. And so when you feel like you're in a space where you're losing against the next person, then that puts you in a space where you feeling like whatever you're doing isn't good at all because it's not beating the next person. But if you just compare yourself to the yesterday version of you, you will always know that, like, it's always getting better. Like, you always elevating, you always growing. And so that's why it's important that when it comes to doing your best, the only person you focus on is you. The only person you look at is the person in the mirror when it comes to doing your best. Don't try to overachieve the next person. Don't try to overachieve people you don't know, people you do know, people from social media. The only person you should be even paying attention to like that is you.
And progression should always be your confession. Up under anything, you should always be progressing. I think I had said this last week. I have never seen a word with pro that mean go back.
Right.
So you progressing, which means you need to be making and taking some type of steps to be moving forward with your development. When you're moving forward with your development, then that means that you are growing yourself. And there's a lot of things that you can do to grow yourself on a day-to-day basis, because there's going to be a lot of negativity that come your way. Right. So you got to be digesting some good books, some good audios, some sermons, or whatever it is. Or you could be listening to the Mind Report, just like you're doing right now. We are in your speaker and in your ears right now. With that being said, don't let no circumstance get you down, especially when it comes to you self-judging yourself. Do not judge yourself. If you saying anything negative towards yourself, that's going to make you move negative. Even when negativity is going on in your life, find some type of way for you to speak positivity to that situation, because you control any circumstance that's going on in your life. And by you speaking negative to yourself, you inflicting some type of self-abuse upon yourself. You should be trying to better yourself instead of beat yourself. And don't find yourself in a place of regret. If you talking bad on yourself and you stop your progress, guess what? You're going to feel some type of regret with what's going on. If you listen to this podcast right now, I really want everybody to do their best by any means necessary and look in the mirror and tell yourself, I'm going to take heed to these 4 agreements that were said today. I'm going to start to shift who I am mentally, and then it's going to unfold for me physically. So hopefully you took some type of value from what was being dropped today, because it was a lot of gems being dropped today. So you can add some type of value to your mind. So you can basically go out there and check your thoughts. But follow us on Instagram at The Mind Report, and also stream us any way that you want at www.themindreportpodcast.com. It's your boy DT.
I'm Caleb.
And I'm Ken.
And we are The Mind Report, and we are out.
If you enjoyed this podcast episode, make sure you share it with someone else.
And be on the lookout for new episodes. And make sure you subscribe now.
This is The Mind Report.
And we are out.